July doesn't have it.
Now you have
I'm
to
not
X.
gonna worry about it.
Okay, but when you get to the point, if you don't mind, you just X out and then you go back to the screens. We'll come back to
Okay,
the
well, I'm gonna keep this, okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
And if you want to do a test, make it small. See, and then you're back up, and then you can make it big right there. See?
Yeah, you make it big.
Yeah, right there, a little less.
That's a lot of green, I guess.
So if you do that, so if you click that.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock and we have both recordings going now. And of course, council was here earlier today and we've had our supper break. But before we did that, we went in camera. So the first thing I'm going to do this evening is ask for a resolution to come out of camera.
Resolved that as per section 152(4) of the Municipal Act, Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting a regular meeting.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bezerovich, Councillor Strang, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, now the first item we have on our agenda is a conditional use. And I guess we do have to go into the public hearing for it, so I will ask for that resolution, please.
Whereas the public hearing for conditional use 3-2022 was adjourned on February 22nd, 2022, regular meeting of council. And whereas council has requested this issue be brought back to the March 22nd, 2022 regular meeting of council, therefore be it resolved, council reconvene the hearing for conditional use 3 of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Horbus, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Now, is Santan going to talk to this, or are you just going to
I'll
read the
just
letter?
speak to this, Madam Mayor, that the applicant has sent us an email saying that they will rescind their application. So we will close the public hearing and then make the decision on it.
Close the public hearing and make the decision on it. Okay, thank you for that. So if I could have a resolution to close the public hearing, please.
Resolve the public hearing for conditional use 3 of 2022 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Moved by Councillor Spicer, second by Councillor Strang. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, I see we do have a resolution before us, and I will ask the CAO to please read the resolution for us.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 249380 of property legally described as Lot 11, Plan 28559 and located at 73112 Joseph Street has withdrawn application for conditional use 3 of 2022. Therefore be it resolved, council not proceed with conditional use application number 3-2022 and be filed be closed.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, Councillor Bezerovich, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next item on our agenda is variation order number 9 of 2022. So can I have the resolution to bring that one back, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is related with the previous conditional use, whereas the public hearing for variation order number 9-2022 was adjourned on February 22nd, 2022 regular meeting of council, and whereas council has requested this issue be brought back to the March 22nd, 2022 regular meeting of council, therefore be it resolved, council reconvene the hearing for variation order number 9 of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Spicer, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And again, Madam Mayor, the applicant has, since they've already decided to rescind their application, we will close the public hearing now. So resolve the public hearing for variation order number 9-2022 be closed and regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, Councillor Bezerovich, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
And next, Madam Mayor, is the resolution whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 249380 legally described as Lot 11, Plan 28559 and located at 73112 Joseph Street has withdrawn application for variation order number 9-2022. Therefore, be it resolved, council will not proceed with variation order 9-2022 and file be closed.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second. Councillor Spicer, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is subdivision on Ferry Road, file number S212917, and there is no public hearing on this one. So I will ask our planner, Santan, to please walk us through this application.
Okay, Santan, I'll stop sharing mine and so you can bring yours up.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'll just share my screen here. All good?
Yes,
Yes.
perfect.
Okay. So this is subdivision application S212917. The subject property is located at 1068 Ferry Road. The applicant wishes to subdivide the property into two lots, size 25,134 square feet and 87,150 square feet in the suburban residential zone. This application was originally presented to the council hearing on November 16, 2021 and was tabled requesting more information on the proposal. This is the zoning table. The minimum site area requirements are 20,000 square feet and width requirements are 100 feet for dwelling serviced by an approved central sewer system or by an approved pump out holding tank septic disposal system in the RA zone. The proposal adheres to the minimum lot sizes as per the bylaw, however, it does not adhere to the East Selkirk secondary plan requirement of 2 acres, 2-acre lot sizes for properties under the large lot neighborhood policy area. The council had requested the Red River Planning District to amend the East Selkirk secondary plan lot size policy that requires 2 acres to address lots where septic fields are not permissible, like it is into the Red River. This is the location map. The property is located west of Ferry Road and east of Red River. This is the subdivision application map. The applicant wants to subdivide the lot fronting Ferry Road. As I mentioned previously, the council gave Red River Planning District directions to amend the East Selkirk secondary plan. The Red River Planning District suggests that the council add 2 more conditions in addition to the 8 conditions that were presented on November 16th hearing that are listed in the original report that is in the docket. The additional 2 conditions are, number 1, that the subdivision certificate of approval will not be released by the Red River Planning District until the East Selkirk secondary plan has been amended to address the conflicting policy requiring 2-acre lots for septic fields in areas where septic fields are not permissible. And number 2, that the applicant enters into a development agreement with the municipality to address connecting to municipal pipe services, for example, sewer, drinking water, etc., when they become available. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions from council to the planner? Any comments from administration on this one?
No, Madam Mayor, I think planning has done a good job of identifying it and it'll be addressed as part of the secondary plan review.
Okay, so if council is ready to deal with this application, I will ask our CAO to read the resolution for us.
And let me make sure I'm at the right one here. 2917 Ferry Road.
Yes.
Regarding subdivision application number S21-2917, proposal of Goris to subdivide being part of river lots 242A to 246A, Parish of St. Peter. Resolved that council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. Applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the RMSA Comets stating that the following requirements have been met. Taxes on the lands to be subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. Development levies and administrative fees to be paid as per bylaw 14-2009. Digital copy of plan of subdivision be submitted to the Arm of St. Clements, and a grading plan be prepared to indicate positive drainage on the proposed property to the satisfaction of the Arm of St. Clements, and to ensure that the proposed property does not drain onto or impede drainage of neighboring properties. 2, the applicant owner enters into a development agreement with the municipality to address items including but not limited to, if required, an approved central sewer system or an approved pump out holding tank septic disposal is utilized, an engineered drainage plan, an easement plan if required, and letter of credit for drainage work. 3, applicant owner enters into a zoning agreement with the Arm of St. Clements to address establishing side yard setbacks that offsets the dwelling to one side of the proposed lot in order to ease the process to future lot subdivision should municipal services be requested to become available. 4, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and to future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as condition of the final certificate of approval. 5, applicant owner submits written confirmation that approval from Manitoba Sports, Culture and Heritage Resource Branch has been acquired for proposed subdivision as indicated from the agency's correspondence submitted on October 21st, 2021. 6, applicant owner obtained all required approvals to bring accessory buildings on proposed lot 2 into compliance to the suburban residential zone within the Arm of St. Clements zoning bylaw number 5 of 2002. For example, approval of any required variances and the other requirements from the Red River Planning District Office. 7, applicant owner to dedicate a 30-meter wide riparian area on proposed lot 2 residual lot along the Red River measured inland from the ordinary high water mark, restricting development to be addressed within the development agreement with the Arm of St. Clements in order to help protect or reestablish functioning riparian areas where they have been altered to help stabilize banks, provide aquatic and wildlife habitat, and protect water quality. And there is an OR that was offered here, which was the applicant owner to dedicate 30-meter wide public reserve along the river measured inland from the ordinary high water mark without compensation to the Arm of St. Clements in order to protect or reestablish functioning riparian areas where they have been altered to help stabilize banks, provide aquatic and wildlife habitat, and protect water quality. So that'll be a decision the council will make afterwards, Madam Mayor. And then 8, applicant owner to conduct a well water quality test to provide verification from the province of Manitoba the water quality is considered safe. The subdivision 9, the subdivision certificate of approval will not be released by Red River Planning District until the East Selkirk secondary plan has been amended to address the conflicting policy requiring 2-acre lot sizes for septic fields in areas where septic fields are not permissible. And finally, 10, that the applicant owner enters into a development agreement with the municipality to address connecting to municipal pipe services, example sewer, drinking water, etc., when they become available.
Okay. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horvis, second Councillor Belanger. Any questions or comments?
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, can I have some dialogue to the conditions?
Not normally. Is it a question that you have, Mr. Gores?
Yeah, some of the conditions I have concerns of.
Okay, well, there's a couple that we would probably be having a look at, so maybe let council talk about what they're going to be looking at in the conditions, and we'll see where we can go from there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to open it up. I have a mover and a seconder, and I think there is the one that our CAO referred to, number 7, condition number 7, where the OR is, and I think if memory serves me correctly, we have not been doing any public reserve, we've been doing all riparian lands. So that can probably be nixed, the second part of it. We leave it as riparian land, so you still have the use of the land. It's not classified as a public reserve, and we won't be taking that land for anything. The other one that I thought of, can you roll down a bit there, Deepak, or make the screen a little bigger?
Can't make the screen any bigger, Madam Mayor, but I can.
Wrong way,
Wrong way?
yeah. I want
10, 9, and 10?
Yeah. Okay, and number 9, I guess, that was put in there because we want to ensure that the secondary plan is amended prior to the certificate being issued for this subdivision. So, go ahead, Deepak.
And number 10 was put in there that when piped services are available, that the property would be required to connect at that time.
Does that kind of cover some of the concerns that you had?
Yes, regarding number 7, as you're all aware, I rebuilt the bank, which I paid for. And when that lot was divided into 2 before, there was dedication of land. I think Debbie might remember back in history where my dad bought that property back from the municipality. That was one of the concerns I had.
So the municipality will not be taking any of that land along the river. It will be a riparian zone where the municipality doesn't do anything with it. It is basically your land to use. I think if you were wanting to put a structure or something on it, there may be an issue there that you may have to come and see us again, so.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
I do have some question of the grading plan and engineering drain plan. Is that normal activity that we have? Because we all know which way the water travels on the property, and there is no flooding taking place, but that's still something that has to be adhered to?
Correct.
Yes, it does,
Okay.
yeah. I see Councillor Sutherland, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question also with the heritage. The lot where the proposed lot is nowhere near this, on the river.
Right.
And I'm just wondering why heritage, why it's required.
Maybe Santan can answer that one. I think because even if it is the residual, it still is along the waterway. So Heritage has to come in there and do their site inspection. But I understand they've gotten a lot better at it since they first brought that clause in where they're needing these heritage sites to be inspected. So,
Okay.
Santan, did you want to comment on that one at all?
Yes, ma'am. So Archaeological Assessment Services said that they will conduct a site visit for a free impact assessment. And if additional requirements, like if additional assessment is required, they'll go from there.
Is there any cost to the applicant for that?
Not that I am aware of, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. CAO.
Just for correction, Madam Mayor, the existing lot that they're doing the analysis on is already developed. So Heritage is looking at the site, but it's not going to restrict what's already developed. It'll be just for future development purposes.
Go ahead,
Just one
Councillor
more
Sutherland.
I forget which item it was, or which, as far as the water quality, where do they have to do tests? How is that, is that after the applicant? Where do they
I
take
guess
the
it's
water
condition
tests from?
number 8. That's the concern that I have is owner to conduct a well water quality test. You want me to drill a hole in the property there to assess the water, or can we use the surrounding area, or how does that work?
I was curious about that.
Yeah, you just take it out of the well water. You can pick up the well water test kit for free from the RM of St. Clements, and then it gets sent out as to be tested.
Oh, from his
From his
In his
existing.
well, yes. That's just like a lot of times in the spring, we test our wells to make sure that there's nothing gotten in there over the winter from the snow and everything that's going down into the ground.
And if the new parcel, I would suspect will require, if they're going to be putting in a well in there, they'll probably require approval for putting in a well. When that lot goes for development.
So you would need a water test from my existing well at home?
Correct.
Okay, understood.
Okay, if there is nothing else, go ahead, Councillor Bazarowicz.
Number 9, I don't have it all here, can you scroll that up a little bit deeper? It's about the 2-acre lot size for septic
No,
fields.
number 9, he wants to look at.
I thought that was provincial, I didn't know we had anything to do with that.
Go ahead, or,
This is the ongoing issue that we had with this particular application, is that the secondary plan restricted. It was a large lot area in our secondary plan. It would restrict 2-acre lots to be developed in here with septic fields. And the intent here is to be able to change the secondary plan that takes a look at this policy, considering that you cannot the secondary plan policy which would allow for these types of lots to be developed. And so as a presentation for planning was to go in and review the policy to update the secondary plan so that a small lot could be created in this area. Otherwise, they have to be larger lots.
With a holding.
Or they have to be connected.
go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Technically, you can't even put a septic field in here anyway.
Yes,
No,
because I
that's
think
right.
that was the issue, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Councillor. The policy was there because it wasn't to allow septic fields, but there isn't an ability to create septic fields because it's in the Red River corridor.
Right.
And so there was a conflicting with the corridor, Red River corridor policy and the secondary plan in this particular area. So that's why planning has to update the secondary plan to accommodate smaller lots.
Okay, I think we have gotten through all the questions here. I have a mover and a seconder, and if there is nothing else, I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so moving on, we have another subdivision. Again, we have no public hearing on this one. It's file number S22-2943 in Desolette's name. And if you could, Santan, can you walk us through that one?
Thank you, ma'am. If I could just share my screen again.
Sure.
All right, this is subdivision application S22-2943. The subject property is located at 84-144 Reconciliation Road, and the applicant wishes to subdivide a 2.1 acre lot from the title, leaving a residual lot of 75.84 acres in the agriculture general zone. This is the zoning table. The proposed lot do not meet the site width requirement of 300 feet, and the proposed residual lot do not meet the minimum site area requirements of 80 acres. As a result, additional variances will be required to accommodate the requirements as per the zoning bylaw. This is the location map. The property is located at the intersection of Road 85 North and Reconciliation Road. Also, the Reconciliation Road is physically separating the proposed lot from the rest of the land. This is the subdivision application map. As you can see, the applicant is proposing to subdivide a 2.1 acre lot that is separated from the rest of the parcel by Reconciliation Road. This is the aerial photo of the subject property. There is no development on the proposed lot, while the residual lot has a single family dwelling. This is the snapshot of the existing buildings on the proposed residual lot. As you can see, there is an existing house, a shop, multiple sheds on the property. Majority of the portion is being used for agriculture purposes. The application was circulated to different provincial departments and agencies. We did not receive any objections. Should council wish to approve this subdivision, Red River Planning recommends 4 conditions as listed in the report in your docket. Number 1, the applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that taxes on the land to be subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. Development levies and administrative fee to be paid as per bylaw 142009. Number 2, the applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and/or future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition on the final certificate of approval. Number 3, the applicant owner obtains all required variances of undersized lot, width, and area from the Red River Planning District. Number 4, the applicant owner provides written confirmation from Manitoba Conservation and Climate, Environmental Compliance and Enforcement that application is in compliance with the on-site wastewater management systems regulation MR 83/2003. Thanks. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions from council to Santan at this point? I have one. I guess looking at the sketch or the survey, I guess it is, of the property, I don't have a problem with the subdivision, but I know that a while back we had a subdivision that had frontage on 2 public roads, as this one does. And I believe at that time there was a condition that we had to kind of choose which road would be their frontage, or their access road, rather than have both. Can you pull that up, Deepak, maybe that sketch? Maybe I was looking at it not right.
This one, Madam Mayor, or?
Yeah, just blow that up a bit if you could.
One road isn't developed, though, is it?
Oh, maybe
If you
that's
look at
why.
the area-
Yeah, if that, maybe
Deepak?
that's why.
If I look at the aerial,
The Mile Road's not
Mile
developed,
Road's
it's the,
not developed.
okay, it's colonization road that's developed.
yes.
Okay.
What road?
Oh, shoot. Reconciliation Road.
There we go.
They're making a comeback here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it is undeveloped road allowed.
Government road is not.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm good. Any other questions for the planner on this one? Council's ready to deal with it. I'll ask Deepak to please read the resolution for us.
One second, Madam Mayor.
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe get Red River Planning to update some of their maps.
Names of the roads?
Regarding subdivision application number S22-2943, proposal of Desitao to subdivide northeast 6-15-6E. Resolved that council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant owner submit confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that A, the taxes on the lands to be subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. B, development levies and administrative fees be paid as per bylaw 14 of 2009. And C, digital copy of plan of subdivision be submitted to the Arm of St. Clements. 2, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that easement agreements have been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition to the final certificate of approval. 3, applicant owner obtains all required variances for the undersized lot width and area from the Red River Planning District. 4, applicant owner submits written confirmation that approval from Manitoba Conservation and Climate, Environmental Compliance and Enforcement, that application is in compliance with the on-site wastewater management system regulations.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Corbis, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, I believe we have one more planning item on our agendas this evening, and this is an amendment to our zoning bylaw 5 of 20, no. It's our bylaw 5 of 2022, and it's an amendment to our zoning bylaw. So if, Santan, if you want to just go through that one, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. All right, this is zoning bylaw amendment BL 5 2022. The subject properties are located at 802 Ferry Road and the adjoining properties north of 802 Ferry Road. The applicant wishes to rezone the subject properties from the suburban residential to service residential zone. This is the location map. As you can see, both the properties are located west of Ferry Road. This is the concept plan. If the properties do get rezoned, the applicant wishes to develop the properties as a residential development and a future road. This is the subdivision concept sketch for future residential development. The applicant wishes to create 22 fully serviced single-family residential lots. Our office has no concern with the amendment at this time, and we recommend that first reading be given to the zoning bylaw amendment 5 2022 that will allow us to conduct more research and trigger a public hearing process. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions from members of council? Go ahead.
This isn't the one where we, this isn't the same one where we wanted that road connecting that property?
To George, no.
No?
No, this is off of Ferry Road. It's just by at the corner where Sewell's property was, just to the
Okay.
south of there, where it actually was Drylick's
Oh,
property.
okay.
Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions or comments from council? Go ahead.
This kind of is a question to the applicant, is to deal with the heritage again. Do they have any recourse? Because I believe that you lost 2 lots.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is any recourse.
You know, it just seems so, with this heritage stuff, I don't get it, some of it.
I think it's because
Well, I
it's on
don't.
the river.
On the river,
That's
yeah.
the reason. I think it's because it's on the river.
Or a ditch.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that, like, you know, I can see it along the river, I can see it along the lake, but some of the smaller drainage ditches, like, I mean, Guns Creek, we call it Guns Creek, which is a registered drain plan, they still want them there, but it's not, it's a drain plan, it's not a river or it's not a creek, so that one kind of gets me every time, so.
Yeah, there's a small creek back there,
Right,
and at one time there was a railway, the Colville Landing, there was
Yeah.
railway tracks.
yeah.
I get it, but
Well, I think at this point in time, this is to just rezone the land.
Oh, no, I
Yeah, and
understand.
then-
I just
Yeah,
wanted to ask the question.
yeah, so,
It's nothing to do with this. I get it.
great. Go ahead, Deepak.
So this is coming for first reading of the rezoning,
Yeah.
and the applicant may have some recourse to be able to go back and approach Heritage and see if they're willing to, because he's showing us a proposed planned subdivision, but he's looking for a rezoning at this
Oh,
point.
no, I understand.
And
I
so,
just wanted to ask.
I
the
tried
question.
my best with them. Maybe if you can help.
Yeah, like I can
maybe
see,
Red River Planning might be able to see if they can help you
yeah,
approach them a little bit.
so,
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah. okay. Can we have a resolution for first reading, please?
Resolved bylaw 5-2022 being of the rural municipality of St. Clements to amend the RM of St. Clements zoning bylaw 5-2022,
No. 2002.
2002, sorry, 2002, as amended by is amended by given first reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Spicer, Counselor Boulanger, seconds. Any discussion?
Question?
Go ahead.
So, right now, this is bylaw 5-2002. Once this gets amended, does that change the number, or does it stay there? Or does that go to 2022?
No, the bylaw number 5 of 2002 stays as it is.
Even though it's amended? Just
Those amendments end up in that bylaw, in the proper space and wherever, you know, at the end of the bylaw, at the beginning of the bylaw. But the original bylaw number 5 of 2002 does not change.
Okay, so when we go through our bylaws, which was going to review this year,
Not us, this is planning.
okay, when we do ours, do we change any numbers?
It'll all be consolidated.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It'll be consolidated and a new bylaw number will come. So
Oh,
the Red River Planning District will be reviewing the zoning bylaw to make sure that it aligns with the development plan.
Right,
That was just adopted last year or 2 years
2
ago.
years ago.
And so the next step is to make the zoning, at that point, everything will be consolidated and a new bylaw with the appropriate changes.
Yeah, it's just some of our bylaws are back from '70s, maybe even some of the old ones. Not necessarily planning ones, but.
Well, yeah, but you're mixing things up here
Yeah.
now. You're talking different bylaws. This is strictly for the planning.
Okay.
And if there's a bylaw back in the 70s, it could be for whatever, but it has nothing to do with our planning bylaw, our zoning bylaw, so.
The general process is when you're doing a rezoning, you're amending the zoning bylaw, but you're not creating new zoning bylaws.
Right. Okay, I had a mover, I had a seconder. Any other questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our planning session this evening. So there are no other planning items that we have to deal with. And I believe that we need to go back in camera to finish up our meeting. So, see you, Santok.
Thank you, Sandra.
So I will ask for a resolution to please go back in camera. Oh, good night,
Oh, and thank
Santan.
you,
Yes,
Santan.
thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Resolved, council recess the regular meeting and go into in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues. And further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 8051D of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Horvath seconds. All those in favor? Opposed?